Introducing Max Phillips, Nathan Little, and Alex Maxwell.
Keep it in the pod. We're going with it.
Yeah.
We're going with it. That's
that
the
last
intro.
one was me. The second one was Nathan. The third one was Max.
It was.
The first one was Max. Got the order wrong.
We normally faff about and do like a little funny intro for each of us, coming up with a "Hi, I'm X," and then insert joke related to the thing we're talking about. But this week we were like, wow. I mean, to be honest with you guys, we've spent the last 20 minutes on this call still talking about Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why that we're not prepared.
Welcome to episode 19, Inside Part 2.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
we're
is
not
it?
talking about Inside.
It's
we're not.
not that.
Although it will come up. It will. But as Alex says, it is episode 19.
Good job.
Smashing it already. And we are talking about comfort films this week. I've wanted to talk about it for quite some time. I remember 5 weeks or so ago, Mark Commode did a podcast on it. And I was like,
so we're
wow,
copying him.
Yeah, but his was feel-good movies.
Ah.
And I was like, it's interesting that everybody's picking comfort films. And then some people are like, I get feel-good vibes from a film that I go to for comfort, but then not everyone was picking, feel-good films.
Feel-good and comfort's different
and I'm
things.
like, yeah. So like, you can watch something that's incredibly depressing. I'm sure somebody's choice is like, Boy in Striped Pajamas. That's my comfort film.
Oh,
sit down, pour a brew.
The Holocaust.
But yeah, just what you want to relax. I mean, we haven't actually talked about it yet. That could be Alex's pick. We never know.
The Holocaust?
I meant the Boy in Striped Pajamas, not.
I was going to say that's not
Holocaust
even a
general.
film.
It's pretty broad topic.
Yeah, we won't do that.
No, this is the best start to a podcast we've ever done.
How are they going to dig themselves out of this weird hole?
Welcome to the show.
There it is. We're doing a podcast.
So before we get started, as always, we've got the little. Well, not as always. That's 3 episodes. But as per the last 3 episodes, always we have the section of the podcast that we call film news. So cue the jingle, and at this point, I think not having the animation is just a running joke. So we're keeping it in.
No, and I will finish it. I already did so long. Anyway.
News about film.
And that was
So
the
this
jingle
week's film
with
news.
the animation.
This week's film news is there is no news. There's nothing. We looked it up. Nothing of interest. Bill Skarsgård's going to be in John Wick 4 for those of you who are interested in that fact. But that's about it. There's nothing.
What was the other one? Zoe Kravitz is directing a film called Pussy Island with Channing Tatum. Yeah.
Which sounds fun. Sure it'd be a one for all the family.
It's Cats 2, basically.
Cats 2, Pussy Island.
Starring Channing Tatum and definitely James Corden.
Yeah, and still Dame Judi Dench. Just on Graham Norton. So, Judy, what are you here to talk about today? Well, I'm on Pussy Island.
Fuck's sake.
That's what she sounds like. That's Judi Dench.
That was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, thanks. It's my best impression.
Yeah.
So Judy. It's just so Judy.
So
you should play her. We'll write a biopic about her.
And we can call it That's So Judy. And I'll play her.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we should swiftly move on.
We are swiftly moving on.
To the body of the show.
Keep getting sidetracked like this.
I don't know.
We're still, as I said, we're still reeling from inside. We're just, we're all, our heads in a mess.
I haven't listened. So I listen to music in my car. Other than one trip where I was giving a lift to someone who hadn't seen it but wanted to. Other than that one trip, I haven't listened to anything else.
Yeah, Nathan put in our group chat the other day of just a picture of just me, it just like on the side of Discord, of just me listening to Inside, and I was like, for fuck's sake, I do listen to other stuff too.
I'm not even pretending I don't at the moment. I just do not.
I don't, but at the minute I am listening to Three Lions quite a lot, just because Euro fever. You boys won't relate, but
I was thinking of that film, but that's Four Lions.
Four Lions. No,
And
this
that's not a
is
song.
Three Lions, the football song,
Rubber Dinghy Rapids, bro.
as in it's coming home.
Yeah, it's not though, is it?
Wait, is that the one that? Hold on.
It might.
But is it though?
Yeah,
It
it's
might.
the
Is
Skinner
football
one, isn't
coming
it?
home?
Well, I
And
don't have a
I didn't
crystal
know this
ball,
was
do I?
applicable. I didn't know, like, sidetracking from films and sticking with the football for a moment. I didn't know that was applicable to the Euros. I thought it was specifically for the World Cup.
It was written for the Euros in '96.
Oh, right.
And
It's because
football is always coming home. Like
it is.
Yeah.
It was written in '96 because we hosted the tournament. So it was football was coming home. It was coming to be played in England, and then since then it's sort of like football has come to mean championship trophy winning football for England. It's coming home. We're gonna win it. We're gonna bring it.
I just
home,
find
sort
it
of
funny the people they picked to write it were Frank Skinner and David Baddiel.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, they were.
Why?
They used to host a football show
There's
in the '90s, which was really popular. And then
Let us know in the comments
Yeah.
below if you actually think that football is coming home.
yeah,
Because it's not.
and I will berate you in the comments if you say otherwise.
It's not. It's not coming home, mate.
Well, it's not coming home for you because you're Manx. So
Yeah, football will never come home for me.
football's
That's
going.
true. Do you just have? Do they play for England? What's the deal there? Do they?
Do you have a team?
Don't think anyone has gotten onto the England squad.
No, but what
With
if
theoretically
under the
maybe,
circumstances? Yeah.
I would imagine so. I suppose there'd be I don't know. It's probably equal claim, kind of over to Ireland, maybe.
Yeah.
No, there's been.
Well,
there's
yeah, I
always
suppose
been,
it's
like
like
kind
anyone.
of-
Depends on
We're,
your
well, we're a
heritage,
crown dependency, so I guess it would be England. We have a national team, but they're not high up enough.
So this week's
No shit.
podcast is all about Manx football. In case
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
We have the
Well-
advantage though because we've got 3 legs.
Yeah,
Anyone who knows the Isle of Man flag will get that.
and no
It's-
torso. Or
It's
head,
it's
or
a
arm,
niche.
Just
It's a
legs.
niche
Yep.
episode.
Come back
Very
for more flag jokes. Well, I mean, it does segue a bit onto our topic
How
because
so?
no, not the legs, football. Because
your
we're
comfort
talking
film a
about
football
comfort
film?
films,
Bend it like
and
Beckham.
yeah, my it's not a football film, but
Oh.
it's before I get onto films. Football is a big comfort thing for me. Of like, especially this week, like coming home from work. If I've finished at 5 and I'm not on an evening shift, coming home from work and watching like whatever game in the Euros happens to be playing, like, oh yes, it's the best. It's so comforting to me. You know, sit in, have me tea,
Yeah.
have maybe a bit of a bev. Yeah, it's great.
Nothing makes me feel better than watching millionaires play a game. And
What an
being
edgy take that was.
richer than me for it.
Yeah, but they're
But-
also
but
insanely
at the
more
same
talented
time,
than you are.
Though,
Lights not
though,
on.
though I don't enjoy football, as you guys all know, and though I just, I think it's not fair, especially on this week's episode. Like, I wouldn't shit on you for having that. You know what I mean?
No, feel free to.
I think okay, it's shit. No, I just think like, especially after the fucking nearly 2 years we've all had, like, if anything brings you comfort or joy,
Yeah.
fucking go for it, and don't
Well-
shit on people for having it.
What about if it's going
100%.
to like anti-lockdown protests?
Yeah, don't do that.
But it brings
Yeah.
me I don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, because it's sort of the idea of comfort films and comfort content, if you will, is intrinsically linked to nostalgia. I think,
Yeah.
and certainly, as you say, after the last year we've had, if I think back to 2018, and obviously throughout my whole childhood, I've loved football as long as I've been alive, but certainly 2018, that run where we got to the semi-finals in the World Cup, which was such a wonderful summer. Like,
I
the whole
weirdly got
vibe.
taken into that.
Yeah, I
know
remember
why.
being surprised. I remember you sending me Snapchats of you watching the game. I was like, Alex is watching
I was
thing is,
watching football.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard not to when
There's so much hype, and you're like,
when,
Yeah.
when
maybe it is
England
coming home. I don't know.
are notoriously shit. When they kind of
Yeah.
do well, you're like, oh, I kind of have to watch this because it's just
Yeah.
a cultural thing, right?
You don't want
Yeah.
to be left out. You
Yeah.
get massive FOMO. Everyone's like, "Did you see it?" And I'm like, "No."
Did
Yeah.
you see that ludicrous display? No, I
Did you
didn't.
see that ludicrous display last night?
That
I
would
missed
be
the
an
ludicrous
example
display.
of one of my kind of comfort things. Not recently, but it used to be. I used
Yeah.
to watch the IT crowd pretty religiously. I was a little bit obsessed. Back when
it's definitely a
4OD was
comfort
so
thing for me.
difficult to get through.
Yeah, yeah.
4OD was such a task. And for those not in the UK, because we've discovered that we have some international listeners. Yeah.
And for
Shout out.
those who aren't our age as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not as easy.
Channel 4 on demand. I don't know if it's still called 4OD or what or whatever.
All four.
Is it just more 4?
All four.
All 4. Wow,
Yeah.
all of them. All
All,
4.
all four of them.
those. All four.
All 4 used to be called 4OD for 4 on demand, and it's
Yep.
where you would watch the telly you'd missed or some old box sets, and it was just notoriously awful. I remember
Yeah.
spending an hour trying to watch a 20-minute episode of Father Ted because it was the only place you could watch Father Ted online. It was a
Amazing.
nightmare. Yeah.
My main memory of 4OD is like just trying to watch Skins all the time.
Oh, me too. What a
Just
show.
going through so many hours of Skins and so many more hours of it just being slow. And then adverts. Hey, do you want to watch Misfits? No! I've already watched Misfits! I want to watch Skins!
But the thing is, that is what it was like. And the adverts
Yeah.
never had any problem loading.
No.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
Like, immediately it'd be like, would you like the new Peugeot 208? And I'm like, no!
The weird thing is, so I've got it on my TV now, the whatever smart TV 4OD channel 4 on demand, whatever the fuck it's called. All four. There we go.
All 4.
Smart TV for Channel 4OD on demand.
Yeah, that one.
But it starts saying my name now because I have to log in, and it's like, "Hello, Nathan. Can I interest you in Ribena?" I'm like,
Like a Mormon.
That's horrible. Would you like to hear the good word of blackcurrant juice?
it's fucking awful. The first time it happened, I was like, if I stumbled into a Black Mirror episode or
Yeah,
something, what the
literally.
fuck is going on?
Well, that's where it's going. That is where
Yeah.
it's going. I remember when I had my brief stint with Formula One, kind of the world of advertising became more and more apparent to me, and it was one of those things. So basically, I think it's a partnership with Amazon, and Amazon are basically collecting your data, as you know, as all of the big conglomerate companies do.
God damn it, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Yep.
You did it.
Congratulations. But
We can't.
and now
we
that more and
can't
more
keep
people are
doing this.
getting smart TVs, basically,
Yeah.
rather than everyone just getting the same ads on regular television, regular television will have personalized ads to your
Yeah.
taste based off cookies, and that's so weird to me.
So what
Yeah.
they used to do with TV ads, this is going on a bit of a tangent again, but it's quite
Massive.
interesting.
Comfort films.
What used to happen with TV ads is they would kind of just guess
Excuse me.
what you were saying, what you were who
Just
was
guess
watching.
what
I'm
you're
sorry, I'm
saying.
getting so distracted now because we're so off topic.
It's fine. Just keep going. It's interesting.
Anyway,
Content.
they would be like, "Oh, there's Top Gear's on now. It's probably going to be men watching this. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
put a bunch of power tools and shit on the adverts, right?" That's
Razors!
yeah,
Close
exactly.
shave.
And it's always a man playing golf, and it's
Yeah.
you need deodorant.
Yeah.
But now it's
Okay.
like that. They'll say your name and be like, maybe I don't know why they know I want Ribena. I think I did actually buy Ribena not that long after that. I don't think it was because of the ad.
Afterwards, it worked. So you were
Advertising
literally like,
the
I should
power of
get some
advertising.
Ribena.
Yeah. They
Wow.
got
I think product placement is
black
just
currant.
disgusting, to be honest. I just think it's a terrible thing, and people just
Yeah.
shouldn't do it.
I think that joke was terrible.
The cool, refreshing taste of Pepsi.
There's
So,
actually water
if
in
we're
there,
getting
can't
back
afford
off
Pepsi.
the massive tangent that
Yeah.
we were on,
So,
what I was getting at was that nostalgia is linked to comfort. And I have nostalgia for that period of 2018 of that era of football.
I forgot we were
when
there.
We thought we were going to win and we didn't win. But like going out into Manchester and watching every game in beer keller or wherever else would have us, and throwing your beer everywhere as soon as the goal went in.
I never got that.
It's an accident. Apart from
Was it?
once. Once it wasn't an accident, and I shouldn't admit to it. Once it was deliberate, but I was annoyed at them. Right, so we were in beer keller. So anyone that's been to a beer keller, I know I don't care. It's important to me, this. Right, anyone
Go
that's
on.
been to a beer keller, it's all benches, right? And when they have
Yeah.
a footy on, they put a big screen at the end of it. And this is at least in Manchester, anyway. And these fucking Americans watching
Sorry
the
to
England
the
game,
American listeners.
they were sat in the middle of an absolutely rammed out room full of England fans wanting to watch the game, eating fucking burgers or whatever. The game's here, right? And they're like this. I think there's a game on. Just talking, just
for the audio
taking up a
listeners, they were sat in
perfectly
front of the
good-
screen.
Oh yeah, they were sat facing away from the screen. They were just having a conversation, not even interested in the game, taking up what is
Bastards.
one of the best seats in the house that they'd clearly booked 5 weeks in advance. And I was annoyed. I was stood next to him.
So
I
you
just sort of
locked your
went-
drink at their head.
I didn't like assault them, but I just sort of was like, when I cheered, I was like, yeah, I spilt a bit, and went, like, bit on them as well. And then
But like,
they
at
left
the same
shortly
time,
after.
you could just not hold your cup when you raise your hands. It's like you see the footage of people out in the beer gardens,
Yeah.
and just when there's a goal or something happens,
It's
there's
beautiful.
just cups
Yeah.
and beer
it's great.
everywhere. And I could not think of anything worse than being in that crowd
Nah.
and getting rained down
feel-
on like stale beer.
I'll tell you this. This is a
and then having
tangent
the
again.
sun
This is
cook
a
it onto
tangent
me.
again. I'll tell you something that's worse. When I went to see Liam Gallagher, people were pissing in those cups and
Yeah, and they
launching
throw-
them.
yeah.
So you'd be watching him, and then you'd be like see a cup flying, and you're like, well, I hope this one's cold. And then it would hit you, and you'd be like, it wasn't cold. It wasn't cold. I even saw a guy in front. To be clear, when I was talking about it with beer, I threw it on beer. I have never and would never launch my piss at anyone, regardless of how far away they were. I think it's fucking minging. But the guy in front of me did it, and we watched him piss in the cup, and he was like, "Here we go, lads, here we go." Went to throw it. He did that thing where the cup comes out of his hand, and it went
Yeah.
all in this girl's hair, right in front of him.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That is horrible.
Yeah.
People were the worst.
British
So-
people, we do
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
But comfort.
Nostalgia.
Fuck's sake.
So Nathan, what
Yeah.
does comfort and comfort content films TV? What is that for you? What does that mean for you?
I mean, I was trying to think of a film,
Hmm.
because that was kind of the question
The brief.
posed. And I couldn't
Yeah.
really think of anything because I don't really have like I don't have something that I'm like I'll go and watch when to like feel comforted by. I mean, there's things that I'll watch over and over again
Yeah.
because maybe that's a different interpretation then.
That's
Because
kind of it, because it's not necessarily just a film that will comfort you. It's
Yeah,
a film
it's something that
just
you know,
fulfills
it's
the
something that's
need
familiar.
that you... Yeah, it's when you want to be comfy
yeah.
and you will watch something. You know what I mean? It's hard to describe when I'm
When
saying it
you-
out
when
loud.
you
It's
want
not
to be
necessarily
comfy.
comfy, but when you want to be comfy.
Yeah.
But that is
The-
kind of the
The
crux
way
of
I
it.
interpreted it was kind of those days that are a bit shit, and you
Yeah.
just want to stick something. You don't want something too cerebral.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I go down one of two avenues, where I put on stupid comedy that I'll like exhale out of my nose at,
Yeah.
and just be like, I feel a bit better than I did before.
Yeah.
Or I'll go the complete opposite direction. And it will always be something I've watched before either way. and I'll pick a film that is gonna make me cry. And for some reason, like, it's almost like I feel bad. Let's fucking lean into it. I'll have a good cry, and I'll actually probably feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's almost like having that emotional release with something and you know it's going to make you cry. You're aware of it, and you know when. And, you know, it's kind of one of those two options.
Yeah.
I tend not to have films for the funny option, though. That tends to be television. Like, I'll put on, like, a Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Office or Parks and Rec, and it's just something I know, characters I spent hours watching and knowing.
Yeah.
And, like, I know the jokes are coming, and I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
His band's called Mouse Rat. You know what I mean?
The Three Skins.
The Three Skins. Exactly. That stupid shit
Yeah.
that you just kind of want to have on. And you might even just be scrolling through your phone. But an interesting thing that I thought was that I've not done that in a long time. And I think, and it's not that I feel great, but I think one thing that's maybe taken away from things like comfort films and comfort TV is the advent of TikTok and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel shit. I'll end up on TikTok laughing at these stupid little videos.
Yeah.
And I'm there for like 3 hours without realizing.
Oh,
When I could have watched some like actually like engaging content. And I feel worse after doing that.
I'm still at a point where, don't get me wrong, I use TikTok an insane amount. Like, Jesus Christ, like it's shocking, really. But I'm still at the point where if I'm like, say I've finished work or something and I want to come home and I'm like, oh, right, I'll put a film on. You know what?
Yeah.
Sit down, have some like dessert of some variation, have maybe a beer or just something nice. You know what I mean? Like just relax. And I'll always go put a film on or put Netflix on, and then
you'll open
watch a
it up
TV
and
show
everything
or something. Yeah. And then there's different levels to it. Like if I'm in bed and I'm sort of like trying to fall asleep, I'll put on like John Mulaney stand-up special that I've seen up 1,000 times, or James Acaster or Tom Segura or Dave Chappelle. Any stand-up special that I've seen like loads. I wouldn't want to watch something new. I'd want to watch something that I could fall asleep. You know,
you don't feel like you're missing out.
Yeah,
I did that with James Acaster's repertoire for like a good few months.
Yeah, I've abused it. So I was thankful when he dropped a new one.
Say your press.
That's good. Say your press.
Wait, he's dropped a new one.
You have to pay for it. It's on his website. You should watch it though.
James.
It's excellent. Cold Lasagna, Hate Myself, 1999. You should. It's great. You should watch it.
Maybe.
I'll link you.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. But yeah, film wise, it's always something nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
Or just something that ticks boxes.
Well, what's like a
like
top pick
what?
for you then? Like what? Yeah, what's something that you would just like go to?
My go-to is always The Boat That Rocked.
Really?
I'm obsessed with it. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen it. I have a vague recollection of it being on in the same room as me.
I think we had it on at uni one time, but no one was watching it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen bits of it.
It's got that guy,
Bill Nye.
the kid. No, does it have a kid in it? Or am I thinking? I might be thinking of something else. I'm wrong there.
It's set in the 60s and early 70s, or maybe just 60s.
Is it Pirate Radio?
Yeah, Pirate Radio.
Yes, I have seen it, but years ago.
And I love Love Actually. Like I properly love it. That would be a comfort film for me. Actually, I love Love Actually, and it's a proper comfort film for me. But I also love music, and I love music like 60s and 70s music as well. And that's a film that's about, you know, rock music in the 60s and pop music in the 60s, and that whole vibe. It's got a fucking amazing British comedy cast, and alongside Philip Seymour Hoffman as well, who's always just amazing. And it's so comfortable. Like I just love it. It makes me happy. Like I'll just sit there and be like, yeah, Chris
Yeah.
O'Dowd's in this. Like I'll be proper just loving it.
Yeah.
And that's not a nostalgia thing. That's what I was saying about it ticks all my boxes. It's just everything I want from a film. Nostalgia-wise, you're talking Mamma Mia, any Studio Ghibli film, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, like, Harry Potter, without
Yes.
doubt.
I've watched Harry Potter through and through, like, several times.
Yeah, I could probably quote the whole fucking script of all of them. Because
Yeah.
I know not everyone loves Harry Potter, but for our generation, we aged as they did,
Yeah.
The actors are older than us, but they were playing characters younger than them. So when they were 11 in the first one, we were like 10 or something like that, and it just aged up like that, maybe a bit younger than 10, but like we were right on that age line where we just aged as the characters got older, and we watched every film as they came out in order.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's so nostalgic. It just reminds me of, going to the cinema to watch them as a kid. Makes me happy.
I don't know why. I have this really vivid memory, and I don't know if it was a dream, but it's also possible because I believe it's the longest one. Watching The Chamber of Secrets, which I think is the longest Harry Potter film.
I couldn't tell you.
In my head, wherever I watched it, bear in mind, there's only like 2 places that I could have watched it on the Isle of Man. There was an interval. I just have this
Wow.
really specific memory of that.
Yeah.
And
Our local cinema
it could
has
have
an
been a
interval in every one. It's great.
In every film.
Every film, yeah. Completely at the wrong bits every time. It's a proper old-fashioned cinema. It's amazing.
There's like ads on it when TV, like when they put films on TV.
Yeah, it's literally
it's
like
like,
that, but the curtains start closing before they stop it. So it's like, it'll be like midway through a conversation, you can see the curtains closing, you're like, well, the interval's coming, I might as well get up and get some ice cream. Because then they come out with an ice cream tray, and they're like, you go,
I didn't know that was
send one for the group.
a common thing.
I don't
probably
think it
not.
is. I don't think
What
it
the
is.
fuck?
But it's
So every
great.
time you go watch a movie at your local cinema.
I don't go there. I go to
Right.
Stockport, but like at our local cinema, yeah, that's...
Is it the ones where they show like old films?
No, they show current films.
Oh dear, that's not good.
They only have one on at a time.
I'm
But they
curious
show
to know
current ones.
what's like the seating capacity of that cinema.
Not lots. Not
No.
lots. They have
I could just.
they have the stalls, and then they have the circle at the top, which is
Oh,
like
wow,
you could
that's
tell like back
fancy.
in the day that was like posh, but now it's like this. I'd be disappointed with this in a normal cinema, but
Yeah.
I've paid extra here.
Mad.
I could just imagine something really dramatic like Dunkirk or something, like all the planes like flying and the curtains are like slowly coming
literally,
in.
it's literally like that. It's great,
Fuck's sake.
but it has such a charm. It's great.
That's like, I was thinking about the cinema on the Isle of Man, and I say the cinema on the Isle of Man, which gives you an
Yeah.
idea.
You
We
have as
have
many
2.
cinemas as you got more cinemas
Wow.
than McDonald's.
One I think doesn't really count.
Is it just
I mean,
some
it does.
guy's house?
It's a cinema. No, it's just really small.
Right.
So across in the main cinema that we have, the Palace Cinema, that's got 2 screens with a total capacity of 400.
Wow, it's like the whole island.
Yeah, fuck you. And then the other one has a seating capacity of 150 people.
Wow, that's like nearly half the
yeah.
island.
Fuck you.
It was still funny the second time. It's the
It
same
was,
joke.
if anything, funnier. I
Yeah.
don't know why. But
That's
so
comedy.
that's some examples of what you kind of go to for comfort. What about you, Nathan? What types of films? Any
Do
specific?
you want to know what
films?
the only
Or
one that
TV?
jumps out to me? Okay, well, TV's different. Again, I kind of lean into the same as you, kind of like Parks and Rec, Community, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like things I'm really, really familiar with.
How did I not think to say that?
Yeah,
Well, that's
I was-
right, I said it now.
It's
Don't
the one
worry.
I've watched the most of all of them.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones where it's like you can jump in at any episode and you'll be fine because you know the whole thing already.
Yeah,
And you know
That's-
the dean's gonna just come in and cheer you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you know the whole episode pretty much off by heart as well, but it doesn't matter because it's just comforting. You know, that's probably one of the ones that I put on. But in terms of like films, it's kind of a bit more difficult for me because I don't. When I watch a film, I sit down to watch it,
Yeah.
It's not really something that I just kind of put on for the sake of putting it on.
Yeah.
The thing that every single time is coming to my mind when I think of this though is Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
It's
Great
because
shout.
Yeah.
it is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
But
And it's overtly funny.
yeah, and I know the whole thing. I know all the jokes, and I
Yeah.
know when they're coming. I pretty much know the whole script of it. But like, it's still funny
Yeah.
every single time I watch it, and I've seen it probably over 20 times by now.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Easily.
I mean, I wrote about it in my dissertation, and I watched it so many times for that, like so many times, just because like even if it was just watching clips from it, because I was just trying to nail down certain, because I was talking about the visual comedy of it, so I really wanted to actually nail exactly what was going on in each one, and it never stopped being funny, no matter how much I dissected it, which is incredible, really.
Yeah.
Like that it couldn't stop being funny.
Like anytime someone gets hit in the head with a bin,
Yeah.
I think it only happens like 2 or 3 times, but it's just
Yeah.
it's so good.
But I find
It's
new things funny
slapstick.
with it every time as well. Like you say, sometimes the slapstick will tickle you. Last time I watched it, I couldn't stop crying, laughing at that bit where they're like, "This is Constable Cartwright and Constable Wainwright or whatever it is," and then they go, "We call them the Andys. You'll never guess why, because they're both called Andy." And they just sort of pause and they're like, "Oh, yeah."
I've always laughed at, like, I think it's, I don't know enough about those skeletons. Don't know why.
I'm
It's so
not
dumb.
Judge Judy, an executioner.
Exactly. And I think one of the funniest parts of that film is just the accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the-
it really helps it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just funny. It's that like small town, like down there. Oh yeah, ooh,
Yeah.
and you just
Yeah.
It's this. There's almost something comforting about that as well. For some
Go
reason,
back to London.
it's just. I feel like it's a disarming accent.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel
Which
And
that.
it's potentially why
Possibly intentional. Yeah.
yeah, probably the reason. And again, it is just funny by itself, like just the saying things in that accent. Generally, a lot of the time, accents are used in that way to just be funny.
Yeah.
I got told a story. Have I ever told you about this story?
You haven't told us anything about it prefacing.
Yeah, we don't know what the story
What the
is.
fuck is wrong with you?
I was
How the hell
talking to
would we
myself.
know? Are
It
we
was
psychic?
to myself
Yeah, but then you paused.
because I'm
Paused straight
thinking.
gonna
afterwards. You went,
answer.
"Have I ever told you this story?"
Well, if to be fair,
That's
it's
a question.
It's a story about the accent. So, and it's the only one I have. So if I've told you it, you'd probably get it from that.
Go
But it
on.
was about this guy and this girl. They were hooking up,
No way.
and he was feeling confident. I think they were in the doggy style position.
Yeah.
He pulled out, and feeling brave, put it in the back door.
Oh, you've told
um,
me this story.
at
Actually,
whi-
you have
at
told
which
me
point-
after all that.
At which point, she, not missing a beat and not upset about it, just turned around to him and went, "Oh, changing lanes, are we? Fair play." That was it. It was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard, and it wouldn't have been as funny if it wasn't that accent.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Maybe
actually.
a Brummie accent would make it as funny. But
I
don't know.
remembered the story halfway through, but I'd forgotten the line, and that is funny.
It's so. But anyway,
like
back
that.
to films. So yeah, you were saying like Hot Fuzz.
That's kind of
Yeah,
it. Like
Alex
I
is
don't know.
just Alex has just gone. So anal sex. Anyway, moving on.
What's not funny?
That's
and
the opposite
comforting?
of comfort. Right. So Alex, you've done a lot of questions. You haven't actually named anything yet.
Yeah,
What's
what's your
your?
answer?
You said TV shows, but
Yeah.
what if you had a film? You got to pick a film. Come on,
Like an actual, like a film.
film, feature length film.
I don't know, because I love rom-coms.
Yeah,
I love that shit, and I like crying.
yeah.
I feel better after doing it. I don't know
Dude,
why.
I watched About Time a few nights ago and had a good
Oh,
old cry
man.
and
Like,
good old laugh. Love
films like wait, am I thinking of the right one with
it. About Times with Donald Gleason
Okay,
and
no,
Rachel
I don't
Rachel
think I've
McAdams?
seen that
Yeah,
one.
Rachel McAdams.
Yeah. But like films like spoke about it. I think it's Celeste and Jesse Forever.
Mm-hmm.
That one is so good. I mean, that's Andy Samberg and Rashida Jones. And when you see that, I think when I first went to watch it, I was like, oh, nice. This is going to be really fun. And like,
Yeah.
ha ha ha. No, it won't. You'll laugh, but it's going to tear your heart out, and you're going to cry a lot. The Big Sick.
Yeah,
That's
great
actually
film.
a really good film.
People haven't talked to you about 9/11.
I love that joke so much.
It's just Bo Burnham's in that.
Yeah,
He is, yeah.
That's fun. I'm trying to think of like fucking The Notebook. I have watched that several times. What's the A Star Is Born? My God.
yeah.
Really?
Anytime I watch A Star Is Born,
I am also
I'm
surprised.
in bits. Have you seen the new
Yeah.
A Star Is Born?
Yeah.
You have.
But as a comfort
Yeah.
film, though.
Not necessarily, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's when I'm feeling kind of when I'm feeling
When you're in the
down,
shallow.
Not even when I'm in the shallow. Fuck you.
Yeah.
No. But when I'm feeling a bit rubbish, I tend to put on a film that is almost going to exacerbate that.
Yeah.
I mean,
To
it's
almost
kind of
let-
mental,
to almost
but I
let me
feel
out.
it. I feel it.
Yeah.
But no, like, I get that.
But things like The Big Sick, they're also funny. Celeste and Jesse,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like the fundamentals of caring. That's also one of them.
Yeah.
Where
That's...
Do I even need to do the quote that you know I'm going to do?
go on.
Fight of the James.
It's so funny. The problem is, I built that. I showed Hannah and our friend Katie that film, and I built that moment up so
Oh,
much.
no, you don't do that.
But they were like, I bet it's gonna get to whatever moment you're on about, and it's gonna be shit.
Yeah.
And they got to it, and it wasn't. They were pissing themselves.
Oh, well, that's good.
I felt so
Yeah.
vindicated. I was like,
That's
no matter
good.
how much I build this up, it is funny.
I'm glad that held up, because I would have thought it wouldn't, because it is just a conversation in a car.
Yeah.
So I was just sort of thinking, oh, they didn't enjoy it. But
There's...
the first time I watched it, I mean, I was at your house.
Yeah.
And Alex, I'd come round to see him, but was having his own shit going on, having a bad day. So I just hung out with like Nathan and Andrew and Katie.
Oh, was I not there?
No,
No, you were
weren't
upstairs.
there.
Was this
so
the
we
put
just
on the-
sat-
We
Had
put
we
on the
watched it
film.
before?
Yeah, we'd already seen it, and we had put on the film, and you were like, oh, I'm just going to go upstairs, and then you never came back.
I left. I went home. You never came down.
I have no idea why.
It was just you were having a rough
Probably
time. But
girl troubles.
probably.
I think it was girl trouble. I think you
But-
were on the phone for the entire
If it
thing.
was
But
third
it was
year, it was probably
it was
girl
one of
troubles.
those
yeah.
where like Nathan. I remember I didn't know Nathan or Andrew that well yet, and
No?
they both sort of turned to me. No, it was like this was like second year, so I hadn't.
Oh,
really
I think
got to
it
know
was-
this
it was-
yet.
Was
yeah.
it in I thought it was third year.
I
Maybe
thought
thir-
it was third
Oh,
year.
if it was third year, then I did know you.
We kind of...
Anyway,
Anyway.
you properly met in third year.
I
So
think
it
there was a
could have been
Yeah.
crossover
before that.
of
But
doing
I just
things.
remember being like, you know, you turning to me and going, "He's going," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, no, yeah, I get it." And we just
Through
went,
some
"Should
shit.
should we just watch the film?" And then we just sat and watched the film. It was great. I was like, "This is a really good film. I'm really glad I came over. Had a great
This-
time."
There's two quotes in it. There's that one, and then you're going to give a muscular dystrophy.
It was if I had one night with her, she wouldn't be able to walk afterwards. And then it was why? Because you're gonna give her muscular dystrophy. But like that's such a heartwarming moment as well because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that point in their relationship where it's like okay,
And
He's-
just
they're on the
everything
same
it tells
level.
you in it as well, because he laughs along with it, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
key part of it.
because at that point he's a twat,
Yeah,
and he is kind of a twat throughout the whole thing. But
Yeah.
like you can get why.
yeah.
You'd probably
Yeah.
be pretty mad at the
Fuck
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about that film, though. It's like they're almost... Everyone has their flaws.
Hmm.
And everyone also has, like, the things that redeem them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good film. It's so... That... I don't know,
Wanna
because
watch it again now.
films like that, it's like... I would put them on as, like, a comfort film, but it's not something like... It's not like a go-to. I'd see it on Netflix and be like, oh, shit, yeah, like, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
The Other Guys.
Do you like
That
that
one.
film?
Yeah.
I
But like you
hated it.
say, there's an element of nostalgia there because I watched it like in my teens
Yeah.
with my mate, and it was I think we had a sleepover, and we watched that film,
Yeah.
pissing
I feel that way
ourselves
about
at how
Step Brothers.
ridiculous it. And it's like that's another one Like, there's even it's stupid comedy that teenage boys will love, and it's like the way your pee hits the urinal, it sounds feminine, and like at that age, you're fucking pissing yourself at that for no reason, and it's just Will Ferrell like with his ridiculously attractive wife, not recognizing it at all. Like, it's stupid, but it's just one of those films that you can put on and just laugh. And
I mean, Will Ferrell's kind of great at that, isn't he? Really, I don't think he's necessarily going for high art comedy, if you will.
No, he's not.
I mean,
and shouldn't.
He's made a lot of misses. He has made a lot of misses.
Yeah,
but when he hits,
the films that he does are always
funny.
they're like delivered lines. It's not like an Edgar Wright film where it's like the entire thing is like, which okay, we'll fit in a joke here, we'll put like the visual comedy of it and like getting shots together to create the comedy. It's literally just delivering lines. It's almost like a stand-up act. It's like, here's a funny thing, now you laugh. Yeah,
I get that, but it is like you say, I think nostalgia plays a big part. I remember in one of the lockdowns, what a sad sentence, in one of the lockdowns I ended up watching Spider-Man, the animated series that I used to watch as a child on like a Saturday morning. I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but I feel like that's reminiscent of our friend Andrew having a rough time watching Fairly Odd Parents. Like
for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
bless him.
You just... I almost feel like that regression to something from your childhood. It's like it makes you feel good in that moment, and you're like,
"Fuck yeah!"
I remember this, and like just eating fucking cereal. No, me it was probably Weetabix. 'Cause I don't know. That's just all I ate. I was very fussy.
No bran.
No bran. It wasn't even bran. It was cornflakes. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right in the element of nostalgia. You kind of just. It's that regression to a time that just felt comfortable.
Yeah, like I Studio Ghibli is. I was like, my uncle got us a bunch of them on DVD. Whenever we go around to his house to visit, he lived in the south, so it was like a proper holiday going down there. And we'd always put on either Studio Ghibli films, which we'd never like heard of. So for this reason, because I was a kid, I'm very sorry everybody, but the Studio Ghibli films that I love so much are the dubbed versions, not the sub versions. I'm so sorry. I know that's really awful.
What's wrong with that?
You've just alienated half of our audience now. They're all
it's
weebs.
supposed to be sub, not dubs. You know, it's what you're supposed to do. For watch the content as it was made to be made.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like you watch the subtitled original voiced version.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was originally made to not be read, I imagine. So I don't see a problem with watching the version.
Well, I think it's a bit different with animation, to be fair, because you're not taking away from the performance of an actor necessarily. You know what I mean? If you can still see the actor in live action, if you take away an actor's voice, you're sort of taking away part of their performance. But if you just take away the voice of an animation, you're just swapping the voice out. You know, the original.
We grew up
just
watching like
recording
Pokemon
voice.
and Dragon Ball Z, and they were all dubbed because they were on like Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they were on UK TV.
You know,
and like Power Rangers is a great one as well, because it would have all the like American sections of when they're, you know, not in costume, and then anything where they're in a fight was just from an old Power Rangers episode from Japan, where they're very clearly different people, like fighting in crazy Japanese like style. And it was so obvious when you look back and you see clips now, but at the time, like you'd have no idea.
Not a clue.
But yeah, the funny thing about this is another tangent, but the funny thing about the subs and the dubs thing is, have you guys heard of? I think it's called Ghost Stories.
Yeah, the film.
No, it's an anime.
Oh, okay. Then no.
So apparently it tanked in Japan, like really hard. The original version, it was
I think
really
you told
really
me
bad.
about this.
And they made a dubbed version, but they were like, voice actors, do whatever you want, say anything, and
so there wasn't even a script.
No, they were just like, whatever you think is going on right here, just say it, and it is extreme. It's chaotic. It's
but
so
did it do
funny
well?
though. Yeah, it was more popular than the original version because it's just ridiculous. Like it's just I can't say some of the things because it's that bad.
Okay.
What?
Right.
You have to go.
You're gonna
and
have to
find
send
it.
me this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah. Click at your own peril, I guess. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
No, it's just like it gets kind of offensive. There's
Okay.
some
Of course
shit
it
to
is.
say.
Of course it is.
But-
Which we
Jesus
don't want to be.
Christ.
Which I'm not going to say. Anyway, back to the comfort stuff. Um,
So I was talking
I-
about subs not dubs over Studio Ghibli because I
Yeah,
grew up
yeah,
on
yeah.
them.
yeah,
And
well, I was going to say actually, I hadn't seen any Ghibli films until about 5 or 6 years ago, probably,
yeah.
when I watched Spirited Away for the
Yeah.
first time.
I haven't seen any of them. Hannah,
Oh, dude,
Hannah
watch
has
them.
them on our list.
You should, they are.
'cause They're
They're-
like, I think they're Hannah's favourite films. Like a couple of them.
They are comfort films. I would say they're the
so
definition of a comfort film.
Yeah.
Like,
They just feel comfortable.
yeah,
you
it's
know
just
when you
really
know when you
nice.
watch like an animation, and I can't really think of any examples outside of Ghibli for you, but you know, like when you see the way that they've animated food, and you're like, oh, I want to eat that shit, or like just Ghibli films are works of art. Like
Yeah, no, I've
every
seen
single
bits of
frame,
them and it looks
So,
stunning.
You feel like you're in that world, and the music and everything about them.
I just remember seeing an egg with a face.
Is
is
it
that-
Ponyo?
No,
Is that what
I
it's
don't know.
called?
No, they were cooking
Sure.
breakfast and there
Oh,
was...
Howl's Moving Castle. It's
Yeah.
not an egg with a
Yeah,
face.
it's
It's
the
Calcifer,
flame.
the fire
Yeah.
demon who
Oh.
cracks open eggs.
Got it.
Yeah.
I that's just a clip I've seen. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, Hannah loves those films. I think she likes the dubbed versions.
Yeah. Well,
What
in Howl's Moving Castle, it's got Christian Bale playing the lead.
Yeah,
And
Actually,
what's the
that's
lad
one
from
of
the
the-
Hunger Games called?
Josh,
Yeah,
someone.
yeah,
Josh.
him. Josh.
Josh.
Big
It's got
Josh.
Josh in it. It's got-
Uh,
Big Man J.
Big J Dog. He's in it as well.
Is he?
There you go. Fun facts. Yeah.
that's one of the few that you should actually watch as a dub because it is just it's so good with Christian Bale voicing it. It's so good.
Where's my moving castle?
Yeah,
Does he
that
play-
was the classic. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Is it
Yeah.
about a floating castle? I feel like I've seen pictures of
It's like
a floating
it's
castle.
it's like it's not about it, but it features like a robotic moving castle.
Yeah,
There's
it's like-
different
But it's
features
not
to it.
about it.
No,
It
it's-
features in it. It's like
the main
a
part of
character
it.
in it.
Yeah, the
Okay.
the story of the characters in it is the
Got
main
it.
story.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like the Lord of the Rings isn't all about Sauron, is it?
I guess, but it's not called Sauron the film.
No, but Sauron
It's
is
called
the Lord of the Rings.
Rings.
you Twat.
Is he?
Yeah, he forged them. Right, anyway, moving on. We're getting way distracted. This can't be the Max shouts at Alex podcast.
But bear in mind, I've seen them, and at no point did I think, yes, he is the Lord of the Rings.
Ah, yes, the Lord. The Lord is
He's the
here.
guy. It's that guy. He's the one.
Let me
who's the-
introduce myself. I am the Lord of these rings.
I've never actually thought
Oh,
to
just
think
like
who is
when-
the Lord of the Rings.
When they point
Who
to
is
the
it?
eye of Sauron, they're like, "Oh my god, it's the Lord of the Rings."
Just straight down
I
camera.
wish so many
Yeah.
films would just reference the title like these are the Star Wars.
It's like that Family Guy bit where he's like, he said it. He said it.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
The Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Like we wanted we wanted Need for Speed to say, I've got the need.
Yeah,
It should
yeah.
have done. It would have been a better film.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings is another one I would say is a go-to comfort choice. Like, and we got that. We put a poll
Really?
out, and somebody else suggested it. The only reason that
yeah.
I wouldn't go for it every time is because they're 3 hours long each, and sometimes
Do we have the results? Still?
I've got a few. I did a poll out.
on
I
then.
asked some
Knock
other
it out.
people as well.
Don't read mine out.
No, go on, Alex. Read yours out. What did you
What did
reply
you say? What did you
to
say?
our
I
professional
did it as a
thing?
joke. Okay. What was the subtitle?
What was the
afterwards?
question? Oh, I don't remember.
Because that was.
It was like The Revenge or something.
Oh no,
like that.
I said Backdoor Babes 5: The Reckoning.
Yeah.
The Reckoning.
And then Max messaged me like, Alex, is that a real porno? I was like, I don't know.
Maybe.
Can I just clear up?
The first bit probably is.
I was intrigued by the weird nature of it, and just knowing Alex, I wouldn't be surprised if he did pick his actual favourite porn. I wasn't asking like, hey Alex, just ask him for a friend. Is that a real porn?
I don't have.
This is my
do
comfort
people
film.
have a favourite porno?
No,
Let us know in the
I
comments
don't.
below.
There's Max like, not me. Definitely not. I don't. No.
no, I can't
That'd be
imagine.
weird.
I mean, maybe they do, right?
I think that'd be
surely some
strange.
people do.
Well, we'll do it
Yes.
for another episode.
What's your favourite porn? Yeah, we'll talk about porn.
Comfort
Yeah,
porn.
people
Come
pay
for-
for it and stuff, don't
Come
they?
for porn.
Nah. Enough
Had
now.
to be done.
Enough.
Oh dear.
So anyway, other people's choices other than Alex's porn. We
Which
have
doesn't exist.
Shrek, The Little Mermaid, Jurassic Park, Miss Congeniality, Madagascar. That was Hannah's choice. She also said Inside.
Yeah.
But she named Madagascar, which is a great shout.
The amount of times I've been up here doing this and I've gone down and she's just watching Madagascar and I'm like, again? And she's like, yeah,
I love that. Again, fuck off.
pretty much. You were gone. He was here for me.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. A lot of people said Harry Potter, actually, that I asked. Quite a few people said Adam Sandler movies. A lot of his movies came up.
Interesting.
Which is weird. A few people said not Happy Gilmore. That would be the one that I would choose. But Billy
yeah.
Madison, which I can't watch. I can't stomach Billy Madison.
I like Billy. Those films were like the films I watched kind of growing up.
Happy Gilmore, I'm so with you. I love that.
You eat
pieces of shit for
for breakfast? That's such a good line. I remember wetting myself at that.
It's iconic. It's such a
Yeah.
good film.
Mm.
Every
50
part of
First
that's funny.
Dates.
50 First Dates is a great show.
Mm.
I like that film a lot. He has
We're just
films I
listing
like.
films now. Yeah, he's a shotgun filmmaker. He puts out a lot of stuff, and some of it hits the target.
Most of it doesn't. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just about money, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
the
I
end
can
of the
think
day,
of
it's
like.
Yeah.
Netflix just keeps giving him money to make more films now.
Yeah.
Saying that, I've not seen
Yeah.
Uncut Gems, and that's
No,
good.
it looks alright, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. There's so many films I want to watch, but
I'm
then,
not spoiling anything here, but Uncut Gems at one point in it will have you going, what? And that's the best thing I can advertise it as.
Is it
It'll
Adam
make you
Basically-
go
Sandler, a
like,
good actor?
it was Adam Sandler pulling off a rubber mask, and it's
It's Nick
Kevin
Cage.
James.
Oh, we went for two different ones.
No, I went the guy that he always works with.
Yeah.
Not fucking Nick Cage.
hold
even
on. Kevin James always works with him, to be clear.
Okay.
Adam Sandler doesn't need any of those dudes, but they all need him.
Oh, Waterboy.
Yeah.
That was one of my favourite films growing up, and it was just so funny to me.
See, this is
I
why
thought
I
you'd
like
react
this
differently
topic.
there.
No,
I
well,
thought
I
you-
think it's. I don't love it, but again, it's one of those I watched growing up as well. Because when I watched, I think probably it was my dad showing it me. Me and my brothers watching Happy Gilmore for the first time. As kids, you're like, I want more like this, more like this. And then, like, I remember watching Billy Madison and being like, everyone's told me I should think this is funny, and I don't. Even at that age, I was like, it's just a guy pretending to be disabled, basically.
But so is Waterboy, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's an actor playing a disabled person.
Yeah. And it's not good
Billy
to
Madison
watch.
is more an actor playing a person pretending to be disabled. But then you have things like, oh fuck, what's the film? The Ringer.
With Johnny
Knoxville.
Knoxville. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that's got a bit of a heart to it. You know what I mean?
yeah. It is a guy pretending to be disabled.
Yeah.
But he learns his lesson.
Yeah.
So it's
Because that's
okay.
again, that's sort of it's the same thing. It's in the context of the film. He's playing
Yeah.
someone pretending to be disabled. It's like
And in the
Robert Downey
context of
Jr.
the
thing.
time they were made.
Yeah.
Oh, Tropic Thunder. That's
Yeah.
a good film. Where I say good film loosely. That's a enjoyable film.
Well, that's exactly
I
it.
think,
That's
I
this,
think it's
that's
a good
this
film.
topic.
It's,
I think it's a good film too.
yeah.
But that's what this topic is. It's enjoyable films, things that you can just be like, you know, we're not going to do a film club episode on something, any of these films.
Why
But
not?
they just make you feel so happy and just like so, you know, like so snuggly. Put the comfy socks on.
Yeah.
You know, maybe do that thing where you like get in bed and you leave your socks on for like 5 minutes and then you take them off when your feet are proper
You
cold.
let your feet get too hot.
Yeah.
And then you take them off and then you can feel the cool. I do that every night.
Wow.
I go
Sounds
to bed
like
with my
you're
socks on.
emotionally unstable.
Well, talking about comfort films, and you know Hannah's response to the poll that you put up. Like at the moment, I'm not watching any comfort films other than Inside.
Yeah.
I'm watching other stuff, but that film is currently my emotional crutch for some reason.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it in the week.
We did.
Sort of privately, just because we were just like, hey, are you having a breakdown too? But
Pretty much.
for me, it was like it's really like been beneficial for my mental health. It's like anything like seeing him discuss those things and sing about those things and joke about the things he's talking about. A lot of the things that he said are things that I felt over the last year and longer, and I've sort of been like, yeah, I can process this a bit better now. Like I feel a bit better about it, knowing that someone's going through it clearly worse than I am, and you know all the feelings that I have about trying to maintain like a happy persona and be funny and stuff are magnified on his level, and he's finding ways to cope with it, and like it's been beneficial, and
so can you.
It's great, and so can you, kids.
Yeah. Well,
isn't that right, Sako?
Fuck off.
I don't have just got my hand.
Well, I mean, we've come a bit full circle. Kind of started off with Bo Burnham again, and finished with Bo Burnham.
We can't really help it.
Just checking that the clock there. We've surpassed an hour. I say we've surpassed an hour. I was recording for about 15 minutes prior to actually starting. I was about to ask people for ratings. I'm so used to Film Club.
Guys, what are you rating? Nothing.
What do you feel about comfort out of 10?
What did you think of this podcast?
Yeah. Let us know in the comment section.
Was it a big fat 0? Because we had no idea what was going on the whole time? Maybe.
Most of the time we didn't talk about what we said we were going to talk about.
We'll find out if you actually like when we stay on topic and talk about things we say we're going to talk about, or if you like us just chatting shit.
Well, people have said to me that they like it when we just talk and like chat shit, so I was like, let's pick a nice easy topic that we can sort of float around with and have some fun with and talk about things that we wouldn't normally talk about. Like I don't know, maybe we'll talk about Ghibli films if Alex watches some, and then we can do a, you know, and I mean, and I might even pick one for Film Club, you know, but
then I'd have to.
But anything other than that, like I can't see it coming up too much. And I wrote down Mamma Mia as one of my choices. Didn't get to talk about it a lot, but fuck yeah, Mamma Mia. Come on.
I don't rate it. I prefer the second one.
Get in the bin. What are you on about? The second one?
The second one is a better
I like
film.
it. Listen, I love Mamma Mia, so I'm on board with the second one. It's great. No dissing the second one. But you're on crack. What's wrong with you? The first one's amazing. Meryl Streep!
It's a bad film. And bear in mind, so listen, I love films. I love ABBA. I love musicals. Mamma Mia was bad. Mamma Mia 2 was better.
I've never been so, like, genuinely angry.
No, I didn't.
I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed.
I should have. I fully expected to like it, and I didn't.
Mate.
But then Mamma Mia 2, it could be that, you know, several years had passed and maybe it just looked different as well. That was possibly part of it, and it just felt more like a film.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't do it for me
we always have that, you know, whatever your opinion is, you go for it. That's always our thing on here. But at the same time, I hate you.
Is it?
So,
not in this case.
So, thank you for listening, everybody. We're going to call that a day before I kill Alex. You threw the screen. He's not here.
No, he couldn't do it.
But if you were here, we would sit down and we would watch The Fundamentals of Caring as a free, like we were always supposed to, but it's never happened.
Then I'll leave the room.
Fulfill our comfort destiny and have maybe a Slim Jim each and have a bite of the James.
Bite of the James?
Are they meat? They're like a pepperami, aren't they?
It's basically a pepperami.
Alright, so you two can have a bite of the James, and I'll have a bite of the veggie James if they make a veggie James.
Would seem kind of strange to do that.
Yeah, well, you know.
They've branded it so, like, based on meat. They're like, we are meat.
True.
Is that the slogan?
We are meat.
Yeah.
So, as I said, if you've enjoyed this podcast, God love to you. I'm so sorry. But if you
I want to know if you have.
Well done.
I want to know if you didn't enjoy it. I want to know every week. Don't just dislike the video. Like, participate, comment, tell us how bad.
The people who didn't like it aren't going to get this far. They're not going to be like, I'll sit and watch
stick around
for an hour.
Well, just fine. I'll say that at the beginning of the next one. Okay? If you hate this, tell us. Like, be mean. Call us
don't
names.
Be mean. Be constructive, please.
Nah, I want like a visceral response. Hurt us.
Right.
But do you like it? Let us know.
This has turned into some sort of weird kink now.
So, if you've liked this video or apparently disliked it so much you want to leave a comment, go for it. But please give us a like, give us a comment if you want to. And you can give us a subscribe as well. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Do we even plug Facebook anymore, really?
TikTok.
It's boomers.
I'll get into the TikTok bit. TikTok, as Alex said. And yes, and we are going to post more. It's a lot to edit, and we're not funny enough. But
that's true.
Instagram, Twitter, not Facebook, but we have Facebook.
We have it.
Still follow us on
YouTube, because you're watching us on it, and TikTok. You can follow, subscribe, and if you listen to us on Spotify, give us a cheeky little follow as well. And I think you can like on those platforms. A cheeky one.
We don't want regular follows.
See, I really try every week to do the plugs well. I really do, and then I'll get distracted, and that's fine because I just get distracted all the time. But then Alex will go off and do this shit in the background, and I'm just trying to do the plugs. And what am I supposed to do when I'm just hearing him going, "It was a cheeky, like, fuck off! I'm just trying to do a thing."